I started pretty much the business at the start of COVID.
Yeah.
And then just from home and sort of built it up slowly, doing servicing stuff, doing more restos while we were there. And out of COVID, we moved into a factory in Thailand.
Oh, yeah.
And then we were there for about 6 months. In November last year, we got next door, started building that, and that got too small. And then this come up, so
Took over this.
moved into here and sort of decked it all out into a showroom. So now we've got plenty of room to move.
Mad name, mate. Endless Sunday Motorsports.
Thank you. Yeah, that was my wife, Sarah.
Was it?
One day she was sitting there trying to think of a name, and it was Endless Summer and Not Ending Sunday.
Yeah, mate. I've got the film and the LP of the Endless Summer. So,
Yeah, two favourite films, so it sort of goes on,
Yeah.
have Sunday with your family or whatever.
So you mentioned you first done a bike for a mate who was struggling a bit just to get him off the couch, is that right?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I want to do. Is like promote guys to go out and do what they love, get on the bikes they had when they were younger, and it's good for them and whatever they do, get out of their system during the they get wound up during the week or whatever. I think most guys go riding for that reason.
When I was a kid, I used to go get riding and just head out the bush to get away from trouble at home life. You know, Left home at 16, come down to the city, and it was always just get away, get out of the city and just go riding. Now with my kids, mate, my young bloke Gus, my daughter Ruby, like they just rip. Watching them just, putting behind them on the track or out the bush, there's nothing gives you a better feeling than just ripping around with your kids. You've got a bucket load. You started out doing restos and then you moved into the AFs.
I was an engineer for a long time, and then did some resto stuff from home. I did work for a couple of other companies for a bit after that point, and then started this in the start of COVID, as I said. So then we were doing restos. Then I wanted to bring the engineering back into it at some point, so I bought a CNC machine and all the engineering gear to be able to be able to do that. And it took a while to get it all together and be able to expand into that space. It's a niche sort of market. There's guys in the US and I think a couple of guys in Europe doing 500 conversions. I'm probably a bit more anal with it, being an ex-mechanical engineer.
Mate, the second I saw your work, I was like, this bloke's not mucking around here. It's not like if you gave me a welder and an angle grinder, it wouldn't come up like that.
That side of it for me is easy because that's where I come from. And doing bikes and building engines and all that's it's a later thing that we've done, and we're pretty anal about that as well. The whole goal was to have an end product that you look at and you can't tell it from a Honda showroom bike.
Yeah, gotcha. Give us a rundown of some of the old bangers first, mate. Run us through what you got in the quiver here.
Yeah, so I've got a 91 KTM 500. A couple of CR 500s. That's a 98 and a 94. That's an 88 CR 250. This is a pro circuit bike we're starting to do some work on. That's for the shop. So that'll be like a show bike. This is a 94 Rick Rath replica. Got two of those here. This one's not quite finished yet. We're going to swap the rims over and do a few things to that.
Yeah, like I said, mate, I've got a 96. I reckon I'll drop it down to you and just get you to do some finishing touches on it. I still work on bikes, and the young bloke in the shed, he's just stripped down a bike and redone it himself, but I haven't got the time. I'd rather spend the time riding than fixing bikes, to be honest.
Yeah, that's good. That's what we're here for. So there's a few early 80s YZ80s. So that one's original. And that one's a resto.
Mate, like I was talking to you before, this is the first bike I stripped down to every nut and bolt in Mum and Dad's lounge room once they'd moved out. This bike, mate, it nearly brings me to tears when I think about the blood, sweat and tears I went into that thing. But bought it at a clearance auction and then did it up, restoed it, sold it straight away before riding it, and bought a YZ250J. And I took the clutch cover off the side of it, and there was a little note rolled up in there. And I opened it up and it said, I hope you enjoy working on this piece of shit.
You're joking. So it wasn't running?
I was running, but it was just like this little cavity in there. So anyway, So
I've never heard of that before. That's fun.
It's fun. So I rolled it back up, put it back in there.
There you go.
What else you got in the quiver?
86, YZ80. That's an 83. This is a 94. That's had a full engine rebuild and the frame's done, so I'm just going to finish that off. That's for sale.
Just put some lipstick on it?
That's an 89 KX80. That's a 96 KX500.
Fucking unbelievable. This fucking absolute, mate. People watching this from our era will be just fizzing at the bunghole.
That's a 96 KDX 200.
Look at this thing.
That's an 83 480. That's an 80.
What year did they change the 500s?
The next year, 84 was the last.
Is that disc on the front or drum?
Drum, the 84 was the 500 air cooled, and then they went 85 when it was the first water cooled.
Yeah, the first two banger I rode was a mate's 83, and I remember that was the last drum So an 80, you know what I mean?
Yeah, around that time, yeah.
Yeah, it could be wrong with there
I
about.
think you're right, actually. That's a 250, that's 86, I think.
Yeah.
85 that is.
Yeah.
96, 250.
Yeah.
There's just a couple of custom bikes that we do some work on.
Mate, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And you sell it for you got a bit of gear here as well.
Yeah, so we sort of keeping the top level stuff like Troy Outline Stars,
Yeah.
gearing stock, the guys that have, and various parts and wheels and stuff.
Yeah, shit on.
And then out the back there's a bit of storage, probably a bit messy, but so this is all bikes that have been pulled down, parts of going out, get stuff done, and
Yeah.
sort of put the first stop is here, and they go into next door.
Yeah, right. So here you know the stuff you need, and then
Yeah.
there, there.
I'll show you next door.
Yeah, bloody hell.
Oh, so these are the bikes after they've been pulled down. These are the AFs.
So an AF's just for
Aluminium frame.
That's where it's come from?
Just means aluminium frames because Honda were the only ones that did a two-stroke with aluminium frame.
Yeah.
And then so after that, obviously they sort of led the way, and they didn't make them anymore after that. So
Yeah.
they never made an aluminium frame CR500.
Yeah, right. So it's just carried on the name of. Yeah, I just think it's fucking sick as fuck. So.
So these are 22 450s and 250s, same sort of frame.
So these haven't been cut down yet. You just
No.
rip the motor out,
Yeah, so they've had all the motor and internals pulled out.
and you just sell it off.
And we just sell that to guys that it's probably a bit cheaper to buy a motor from us brand new than to rebuild one that's blown up or something.
Yeah. So just sell it to the race crew.
Yeah, so just people get in contact. We sell
Yeah.
those.
What do you sell those off for? Just for people? So
That's
people know.
around 6K.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's included the exhaust, all the electronics,
Yeah.
the manifold, motor,
Yeah.
basically everything.
Suppose you don't need it, do you?
We don't use any of it. No,
Yeah.
so this one's the frame's all been done.
So you basically cut those mounts and move the mounts.
Yeah, so we cut the mounts only on these, and we modify the radiators. And we've got an air box that we throw in, and a few other bits and pieces. But
Yeah.
it's around 30 something hours to build a bike.
So build a bike. Does that include not doing the motor? Or?
Yeah, that's include rebuilding the motor. So if you look over there, there's some older CR500 engines.
Yeah.
So we'll buy one of those from like America or wherever we can get hold of one.
Yeah.
In the 90s era, they're all pretty much the same.
Yeah.
And then we'll strip them down and we'll get it all aqua blasted.
Yeah.
Or rebuild the crank or put a new crank in it, depending on the customer. They can have brand new Vinco crank or a built crank.
Yeah.
And then the cylinders we sleeve them or re-nickel seal coat them.
Yeah.
And then put all new bearings and everything through the whole
Mate,
thing.
they're as good as new.
So like
Probably better.
The other option is like this one. It's a billet.
Oh yeah.
So we've got a lot of spares we bought from Honda, old stock, and we can basically build a brand new engine.
Yeah, right.
And we get a brand new crank from the States and throw in it.
Yeah, so people pay a bit extra for the bling.
Yeah, it's probably another $5,000 for that.
Yeah, right.
It's a fair bit extra.
Yeah.
It's a brand new motor.
Yeah.
Cylinder's a brand new Honda cylinder.
So, end result, once you've got a 500 two-banger sitting in this, what's sort of your ballpark figure out to the general public? And they won't hold you to it in the future. This is today's deal.
We're just doing for cost plus labour at the moment. Because
Yeah, right.
the ones from the US are about 30K.
Yeah.
And they won't even sell them to Australia.
Yeah, right.
So we wanted to get the price to the right for people that are looking at buying a KTM 500.
Yeah.
On the road, they're about 23.
Yeah.
You know, if you get an Erzberg, they're over 25. So
Yeah.
we didn't want to make it unrealistic, but we still got to make money as well. So
That's totally fair enough.
So the first 10 we're doing at 25 including, and then after the first 10 we'll put the price up to so we can get some money back in the business. So they're about, the KXs are a bit more expensive.
Yeah, so have a look at this. So just show us the difference on the framework. Why the KXs are a bit more expensive. Just run us through the extra weld you got to do.
So with the KX, the white piece is lower, so we're against it to start with. So we've got to, we basically cut this whole section right out and get rid of it. Yeah. And then I have these engineered and bent up with 3mm wall, and they're manual bent so nothing gets dented.
Yeah, good.
And then we weld these in, and we move the white piece up 125mm.
Yeah.
And we do a crossover weld, so it's got a lot of strength in it, so nothing can fail. Every joint is at least an inch to 2 inches cross welded, so there's a micro flex in there.
Yeah.
We don't butt weld anything, so nothing cracks.
Gotcha.
It comes up like the stock bike. It's the engineering's all there the same. We don't use any billet stuff because it's harder aluminium.
Yeah.
And there's a possibility that it could crack against the softer aluminium.
Yeah.
So
And mate, this is your rig over here.
yeah, it's my beast.
So run us through that. What did you? It's a 250.
Yeah, so it's an 03 KX250 engine.
Yep.
It's all been rebuilt, and then it's got a lot of pro circuits. This is a bit of an example of what we can do if you max out what you want to do.
Yeah,
so
right.
It's got like pro wheels on it, EZE wheels.
Yep.
Pro circuit, clamps, linkage, pipe.
Yeah.
So we went nuts on it. It's got a carbon fibre airbox as well.
Yeah, right.
So it's a 23
Oh, yeah.
with a 03 motor, and it's styled like the 94 KX250.
Yeah, that's mad. Where do you ride mostly?
The Hastings.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So track work?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
a motocross track.
Yeah, that's right. I'm more an enduro bike. Yeah. So lots of time out in the bush as a kid, so I just sort of carried on from there and then raced a bit of enduro in my 20s and yeah.
That's awesome.
Nothing serious, you know what I mean, but just, yeah.
I used to do a lot of enduro. My son, he didn't ride for a long time. He's only learning, so we just go out and potter around.
Yeah.
I'm not the greatest rider, but I can build a bike all right.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Oh, mate, and look, I can ride, but there's always someone better than me, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
there is, yeah.
until someone overtakes me and then you
I find if I get too keen and try and get competitive, I end up hurting myself. So
I know. We're getting old
I
nowadays.
keep it real.
So, mate, can you show us where the magic happens
Yeah.
next door?